Imagine you're trying to build a fortress. You want a safe, unshakable place where nothing from the outside can affect you. But every time you start building the walls, you notice tiny, invisible cracks. Small structural flaws that seem harmless at first, but over time they weaken the entire construction. Building a Stoic mind is exactly like building this inner fortress. You want to be someone who doesn't get easily shaken, who stays emotionally grounded in the middle of chaos, who doesn't let the outside world control how you feel. But what if, without realizing it, you're making critical mistakes that are quietly sabotaging this journey? Most people who try to follow Stoic principles fail right here. They think they're on the right path, but in reality, they're reinforcing habits that make them even more emotionally fragile. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever felt frustrated because you couldn't control something? Have you ever tried to ignore your emotions, thinking that would make you stronger, but ended up feeling empty inside? Or maybe you've noticed that many of your decisions are based on seeking approval from others. These are clear signs that your mind isn't truly Stoic yet. And the worst part? If you don't recognize these mistakes now, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of anxiety, insecurity, and emotional instability. But here's the good news. If you can spot these flaws, you can fix them. Today, we're going to uncover the 3 biggest mistakes that stop you from developing a Stoic mind, and more importantly, how to eliminate them for good. Picture yourself holding sand in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. This is the first mistake stopping you from building a Stoic mind, trying to control what you can't control. Most people waste an incredible amount of emotional energy trying to change things that were never in their control to begin with. They want people to act a certain way, they want life to meet their expectations, they want circumstances to always work in their favor. But when that doesn't happen, what's left? Frustration, anxiety, and anger. The Stoics understood this centuries ago and developed a core principle called the Dichotomy of Control. This idea, largely taught by Epictetus, separates everything in life into 2 categories: what we can control and what we can't. Heavy check mark what we can control: our attitudes, our choices, our reactions. Cross mark what we can't control: other people's behavior, the future, random events in life. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest emperors and a dedicated student of Stoicism, understood this deeply. He ruled over a massive empire, surrounded by betrayal, wars, and political challenges. He could have driven himself crazy trying to control everything that was beyond his reach. But instead, he wrote in his meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The lesson here is simple. The more you focus on things you can't change, the more emotionally vulnerable you become. Here's a Stoic challenge for you. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write down everything that's currently bothering you. Then, mark which of those things you actually have control over. You'll notice something surprising. Most of the things stealing your peace aren't up to you. So here's the big shift. Let go of the sand. Loosen your grip. Stop trying to control what was never in your hands to begin with. Your focus and energy should go only to the things you can directly influence. That's the first step to building a truly Stoic mind. A lot of people think that being Stoic means feeling nothing at all, that the path to a strong mind is to shut down emotions, ignore feelings, and act like nothing matters. But that's not Stoicism. That's emotional suppression. This is the second mistake that stops you from developing a Stoic mind: confusing emotional control with emotional coldness. The Stoics never taught that you should turn into a robot without feelings. Quite the opposite. They knew that emotions are part of being human, but they also knew those emotions don't have to control us. True Stoicism isn't about eliminating emotions. It's about recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond to them. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, explained this perfectly. He said there's nothing wrong with feeling anger, fear, or sadness. The problem is letting those emotions take over our actions. In one of his writings, he said, "Anger, if not controlled, is often more destructive than the injury that caused it." In other words, emotion itself isn't the enemy. The enemy is the impulsive reaction that comes from it. Imagine your mind as an ocean. Emotions are like waves. Some are small and pass quickly. Others come like violent storms. If you fight against the waves, you'll drown. But if you learn to ride them, you can use the power of the ocean to your advantage. Here's a powerful Stoic exercise to help you do that: the Stoic Journal. Every night, before you go to sleep, write down the strongest emotions you felt that day. Ask yourself, Why did I feel this way? What was this emotion trying to teach me? Did it really require me to react? Over time, you'll start to notice patterns. Many of your emotional reactions are unnecessary. Others can be expressed in a more rational way. This exercise won't make you cold, it will make you aware. Being stoic doesn't mean being numb. It means being in control of your emotions, not letting them control you but also not denying they exist. That's the balance that separates a true stoic from someone who's just pretending to be strong. Have you ever noticed how much we seek other people's approval? Whether it's at work, with family, or on social media, we're constantly adjusting our actions to please others, to be recognized, to feel accepted. But what if I told you that this constant need for validation is exactly what weakens your mind and pulls you further away from true stoicism? This is the third mistake that stops you from developing a stoic mind: placing your happiness in other people's hands. The Stoics knew that the more we depend on outside opinions, the more emotionally vulnerable we become. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, once said something simple but incredibly powerful. If you want to be free, stop caring about what others think of you. For him, true freedom didn't come from wealth or status, but from freeing yourself from the need for approval. When you act based on what others might think, you're not living your own life. Now think about this for a second. How many times have you held back from doing something because you were afraid of being judged? How often have you made decisions thinking more about how you'd be seen than about what you really wanted? How many times have you changed your mind just to fit in? Every time you seek approval, you give away a little bit of your power. You become a slave to outside expectations. The Stoics had a clear principle. They lived by their values, not by what others expected of them. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled Rome guided by Stoic wisdom, once wrote, "Peace of mind comes when you stop looking outside and start living in accordance with your own nature." Here's a Stoic challenge for you. Spend an entire day without seeking external approval. That means heavy checkmark, not justifying your decisions to others. Heavy checkmark, not changing your opinions just to fit in. Heavy checkmark, not worrying about likes, comments, or recognition. You'll notice something powerful. Mental freedom comes when you stop caring about outside validation and start acting based on what you truly believe in. This is one of the biggest secrets to developing a truly stoic mind. Now that you understand the 3 big mistakes that are holding you back from becoming stoic, the question is, how do you fix them? How do you reprogram your mind so these habits no longer control your emotions and your life? The answer lies in 3 essential stoic pillars: self-awareness, mental discipline, daily practice. Keycap 1: Self-awareness, the first step to gaining control. Stoicism teaches that you can't change what you don't notice. Most people live on autopilot, repeating the same mistakes without realizing they're trapped in destructive emotional patterns. To break this cycle, you need to observe yourself with rational clarity. The best way to do this? The Stoic Journal. Small blue diamond exercise. Every night before bed, write about your day. Ask yourself, did I try to control something I can't control? Did I react impulsively to an emotion? Did I seek approval or recognition from others? Over time, this will help you see your weak spots clearly and make conscious improvements. Keycap 2: Mental discipline. Train your resilience. You don't build a stoic mind overnight. Just like a muscle, resilience needs daily training. The Stoics use specific techniques to strengthen the mind. One of the most powerful is negative visualization. Small blue diamond exercise. Every morning before starting your day, imagine the challenges you might face. Picture criticism, obstacles, and difficulties, and think about how you can respond rationally and calmly. This mental rehearsal prepares you for the unexpected, making you more resilient to frustration and less vulnerable to destructive emotions. Keycap 3: Continuous practice. Make Stoicism a way of life. The biggest mistake people make when studying Stoicism is staying stuck in theory. Reading about it isn't enough. You have to apply it daily. Small blue diamond rules to make Stoicism a habit. Heavy checkmark: every time something irritates you, pause before reacting. Heavy checkmark: if something is out of your control, accept it and move on. Heavy checkmark: when you have to make a decision, let reason, not emotion, guide you. The key to building a stoic mind isn't avoiding difficulties, but becoming strong enough to face them with wisdom. So now the question is, are you ready to stop making these mistakes and take control of your mind? If you truly want to develop a stoic mindset, understanding the concepts isn't enough. You have to practice Stoicism daily. and the great Stoic philosophers knew this. They didn't just talk about resilience, emotional control, and mental discipline, they trained these principles every single day. Today I'm going to share 3 Stoic exercises that will transform the way you handle challenges, emotions, and even life itself. Keycap 1. Negative visualization. Anticipate challenges before they happen. Most people panic when things go wrong because they weren't prepared. The Stoics had a different strategy: anticipate problems before they arise. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, used to write in his journal every morning about the difficulties he might face during the day. He knew that realistic expectations reduce emotional impact. Small blue diamond: how to apply it. Before you start your day, ask yourself, what challenges might I face today? How can I respond calmly if something unexpected happens? What emotions do I need to control to stay focused? When those challenges appear, your mind will already be prepared. Keycap 2. Memento mori. Let the thought of death guide how you live. The truth is simple: you won't be here forever. The Stoics believed that remembering the shortness of life helps us let go of pointless worries and focus on what truly matters. Seneca once said, "While we waste time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." Small blue diamond: how to apply it. Every day remind yourself, if today were my last day, what would really matter? Is it worth getting stressed over something small? Am I living in alignment with my values? When you accept life's impermanence, your worries shrink and your wisdom grows. Keycap 3. The silence exercise. Speak less, think more, react better. How many times have you regretted something you said in the heat of the moment? The Stoics believed that words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. That's why they practice speaking only when necessary. Epictetus said, "If someone provokes you, remember, it's your mind that decides whether it's worth your attention." Small blue diamond: how to apply it. Before responding to criticism or provocation, pause. Practice staying silent in conversations that don't really matter. Watch people who talk too much. Do they really seem in control of themselves? Well-applied silence is one of the most powerful tools to maintain calm, respect, and emotional intelligence. If you practice these 3 exercises every day, your mind will become stronger, more resilient, and above all, more stoic. If you've read this far, you already understand that having a stoic mind isn't just about knowing the philosophy, but about fixing the mistakes that pull you away from it. Today we talked about the 3 biggest mistakes stopping you from strengthening your mind. Small orange diamond: trying to control the uncontrollable, wasting emotional energy on things outside your influence. Small orange diamond: confusing stoicism with emotional coldness, ignoring that emotions are part of life. The key is to manage them, not deny them. Small orange diamond: chasing external validation and recognition, when true power lies in acting according to your own principles without needing approval from others. If you've made one or more of these mistakes, don't blame yourself. Stoicism isn't about being perfect. It's about improving every day. What really matters is, what are you going to do now? Because knowing about these mistakes won't change anything unless you apply the change in your life. Mental weakness comes from the desire to control the uncontrollable. But Stoic strength comes when you accept what you can't change, master your emotions, and move forward with discipline. So, take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, which of these mistakes do you catch yourself making the most? And what change will you start making today?